Hi, everybody. Welcome to Gen Friends. I'm Cheri Hudson-Passy, your host. I'm from Carolina Girl Genealogy, and we've got two great panelists tonight. We've got Mary Kircher-Roddy from MKR Genealogy. Hi, Mary.
Hi, Cheri. How are you?
I'm great. I'm so glad you're able to join us tonight.
Me too.
And we have got Shelly Murphy, our family tree girl, is here with us as well. Hi, Shelly.
Hi, ladies. How's it going?
It's great.
It's going great. Wow. Our purpose is to try to discuss, because it was an emotional one. We're going to try to discuss with no tears day 4 of relative race. We should say it like Dan, relative race. Day 4. Can you believe we got through day 4? We're almost halfway done. Halfway. Oh my goodness, we're almost halfway done. Another emotional show, another fun show. It started out, I think, really, really fun. The teams were singing and, sending their text messages. And Dan said they were grooving towards their destination cities. And I thought, that was a fun. So, they all were, happy and hugging their relatives. But Red Team did something really special before they left. Anybody want to, do you remember what the mom gave Maria before she left?
Yeah, she gave her a necklace that had different charms on it to kind of show, her history and their future together. So it was a very nice memento.
It was so pretty.
What was it? Brave.
And
there was a feather.
There was wings on it for
and a star.
And a star
for hope.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. So it was symbols, all symbolic, and I just thought that was really beautiful. It was really beautiful. And so, Team Green cracked me up when they got their destination city, because they were going to Santa Fe. They were going to Santa Fe, New Mexico, and it took them a minute to realize, which it does. I don't blame them. I used to live in New Mexico, and I cannot tell you how many people asked us if we had to have a passport to get there.
Yeah.
If we had to learn to speak Spanish. I mean, just crazy stuff. And we'd have to say, no, it's a state. And people wouldn't believe us. So I don't blame these boys at all.
Well, you got to remember where they're from and the environment. They're in a huge city, LA. And because I know the girls, remember, they kind of laughed at them a little bit about not having their driver's license. Right. You have no reason to have a driver's license.
No, exactly.
In those big cities like that. And I thought, you're breaking my heart.
In Los Angeles, I would tend to disagree with that, because public transportation is not great in LA.
It's not great. So that's all they know.
Yeah,
and plus, one of them was homeless, remember?
Right.
Yeah,
and he had been in and out of orphanage and things.
Exactly. Exactly. And they were worried they wouldn't get good Mexican food. I'm like, yeah, it's New Mexico, but you can still get really good Mexican food.
Yeah.
So I just thought that was really funny.
Yeah,
but, and they had to tell him, no. And Bishop, the dad, said, it's a state.
Yeah.
Again,
it's what they're exposed to.
Exactly. And they may have misunderstood when they read it. They just may have heard Mexico, because a lot of my kids, some of my kids were born in New Mexico, and they'll say it so fast, and people will think they're saying Mexico, and so
correct.
So that could have been it. Anyway, that was really funny, and they were doing their text messages again and making fun of them because they had a driver, and just all sorts of crazy stuff was going on, and it's just part of their bonding and having fun, because those drives, what do you do? And you sing songs and you text each other. That's what you do. That's what you do.
And start intimidating the other ones, because remember they said their map was somewhere else or something like that. So that was cute.
Just had a 3.5-hour drive Friday and Sunday going down to Portland. So there's not much you could do in the car. It gets a little squirrely.
It's too bad you didn't have anybody to trash text.
I know. We used the Mango app to learn German while we were.
There you go.
There you go.
Well, anytime you're driving, feel free to text me. It's really okay.
Same here. I was texting. I went down to Tallahassee, so it was a 12-hour drive with one of my older brothers, and it was so interesting because, of course, he's going to be 70. So he's the driver. He knows the way. Doesn't need to stop except for gas. I'm dying. I stop when I travel every couple of hours. So I can imagine these teams. Remember the first one when they went to Davie, Florida, or wherever it was at, and I thought, oh my God, that is a
long
huge
way.
drive.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm okay long as I can have the brakes because I get so stiff. So I was texting my daughter, talking about him and cracking up because he kept changing the radio station.
That's
just like he
funny.
changes the TV channel, the remote is going. So I can imagine, the 3 or 4 hour drives are probably not bad, but when they got those long hauls, that's pretty bad.
You got to have something to do. And I thought their choice of music was really funny, what they were singing. I mean,
yeah.
And the Black team was making up their own songs. And yeah. So it was really fun. The challenge that they had this time was really fun too. It was like what do they call it? They called it
it was rolling the ball.
A maze ball. They called it a maze ball. Yeah. And they had to roll the ball into the little holes. They had to get it all the way through, almost like a pinball game that you could hold. And that was harder than it looked because the ball kept falling in. But green team got a little rhythm going, and they were jumping the ball. I thought that was really smart. They were popping it up to where they could get it there. But a couple of the teams even went over their allotted time with the game.
The Black team went over a lot. And for every 5 minutes, you would get to put a plug in the thing. And they wound up putting in all 3 plugs. Yeah. So it took them a long time.
Well, blue team struggled with that ball too. Remember, they were getting frustrated.
But they finished within the 5 minutes. The first 2 teams finished within the first 5. They didn't get any plugs.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. But that's got to be, I bet you that if you just had that game and you didn't have a race to run, you could probably get that in. But it's that stress of knowing if we go over, this is what's going to happen. And for Black team, if we get another strike, we're going home. And there's just so much more riding on that than just playing that game in an arcade or just at a party or, for just the winning team gets this. It's different when you're on this race. And I think the stress gets to them. And there was a few stressful moments as they were trying to work together and not listening to each other. And the communication was really important. They needed to have some communication in order to do it.
Yeah.
So, but they finally made it through, and green team got to Santa Fe. They actually found some people that had maps. Who carries maps?
I know. It was like someone in a restaurant.
Do you? Shelley carries maps. Good for you.
Because if you don't get a signal on your phone,
that's a good point.
And if you're traveling, there is nothing else you can do but either stop and ask questions or pull out a map.
But you got them in your car. Those ladies had them at a table in an outdoor cafe.
Yeah. I mean, they were talking about it. Remember that lady was just sharing with it. I thought that was adorable.
Yeah. She probably just carries it in her little, in her big purse around in case she needs them out. Yeah. And then they were really smart. They stopped and got a magnifying glass so they could see
the boy. Wasn't that the boys?
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought, how smart of them.
Never thought about that.
None of the other teams have ever done that in the other seasons.
No. But we need to do that. I need to put that magnifying glass.
Well, me too, but they've got young eyes.
I use it for genealogy research, we'll bring it, but never thought to put it in with a map.
No. I thought that was very, very clever. Very clever of them to do that. And they were saying it was really helping. So because they've got to tell Bishop where to go. It's not like he can look at the maps and help them out.
Correct.
They've got to look at those maps. So
how do you think that experience is with Bishop and his son?
That it's going to be a 10 days to remember, whether they make it all the way through to the day 10 or not. It's going to be
that's emotional right there.
Exactly.
Thinking about that, he has that chance, but he's now a father figure for both of those boys.
And it's interesting because only one time that I can remember did he get out of the car, and they haven't shown. I'm sure he does, but they haven't really showed him interacting with with the relatives. They did that first day because that was like his
family, right?
His brother. But they really haven't shown too much of that. And I know somebody posted, is he not allowed to get out of the car? I think it's just
he gets out.
I'm sure he does. Well, he gets out to eat a banana like he did last time and
Yeah.
scare them to death.
Well,
but
I did.
Oh, Mary, I can't hear you. Just on your microphone.
Yes, sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. I do that too.
Okay, yeah. I did wonder whether, because I don't know what the relationship between him and the mom was, but I can imagine there could be maybe some hard feelings. So if they are meeting the mom's side, maybe he may want to stay in
the car. I leave my bananas in the car. You can tell me when you're done.
Right. He's either taking it in a bag.
And I wonder where he's sleeping. That'll be some interesting questions. Maybe we can find out after the season.
Yeah.
Where are they putting him up? So
because it's a lot. I mean, it's a lot to have 2 complete strangers come and stay in your house, but then a third. I mean, I don't know that I'd be equipped to have 3 complete strangers come and stay.
He's not getting any help driving too, where the other teams, they can take turns if somebody gets tired, where he's got to do it all himself. So that's interesting, just for him. But they made it, they made it to the relative's house in Santa Fe, and it turned out to be one of Keith's father's relatives. And she was wonderful, showing him photos, and she was very interested in learning about him, really learning about him, and telling him about his family. And she took him, and they went to a pottery place, which doesn't surprise me. If you've been to Santa Fe, I don't know if any of the 2 of you have been to Santa Fe. It's very artsy. There's art.
Yeah, very much so.
Art galleries everywhere, and so that didn't surprise me. That it was either horseback riding, or whitewater rafting, or something with an art gallery. I figured they would do since they were in Santa Fe. So I thought the boys handled that really well.
They did well.
They did,
and that might have been something new for them also.
One of them said something about, I haven't done this since grade school or something like that. Yeah. But what a great way to sit and talk, because you're sitting across from each other and you're crafting something, and your hands are busy doing something, but you can listen.
Yeah.
So I thought
it was a good setting.
I thought it was a really good setting,
because she was the perfect cousin. I mean, asking questions and things to them, and of course they were asking questions back. But I thought it was just a good setting where they were tuned into what they were doing, but they were there with family.
Exactly.
And
she also was talking about Keith's grandmother, whom he remembered. And then she gave him she showed him a picture, of course, and he said, she's as beautiful as I remember. And I thought that was really sweet. But she gave him the funeral program and a copy of her obituary, which I thought was sweet. And he said, had I known, but he said, I was 16 and I didn't even know. Nobody informed
me. He found out, 2 weeks later, he said that.
So sad. It's really, really sad. But he's warming up a little bit more, don't you think? He was so reserved, and he still is reserved, but I think he's really getting into this, and in his own way, in his reserved way. He's smiling more. And when he hugs them, he's hugging them. It's not some kind of just pat on the back little thing. He's relishing this. He is bonding.
Well, how did they get back together?
You know what? I know that in they did those introduction films. And they talked about finding each other. They didn't really go into a lot of detail, but they did. They searched one another out and found each other. And so I think they've been together for quite a while.
Yeah, now they have, but there was some break because, again, the other one goes to the orphanage and stuff, but Keith apparently was with Mama, I think. I think he was there a little longer, but Mom died when was he 5?
They weren't very old. Neither one of them were very old.
But he was the older one, though. I think he's the older one.
Right.
So
yeah. So he probably maybe could take better care of himself, and so then Marcus ended up in foster care. He's at like 10 foster homes.
10 foster cares and on the street.
And on the streets, exactly.
So what nice guys.
Oh, aren't they though? Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, they are such nice guys.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk a little bit about Blue Team, about Darius. Oh my, or Demetrius. Sorry, Demetrius. Sorry. Yeah, he is just wrecking in those family members.
Yeah,
you know, another cousin on his dad's side, and more information, and you can just see the emotion on his face. You know,
but is his dad still alive? They haven't got there yet.
I don't. They know,
because I'll comment on somebody else, and they haven't said a lot, and it didn't come out at the end of the show. Because we're talking about the team, but when we get to the black team, I'm going to make a comment.
Yeah. Mary too. Mary's ready. You both can take it away.
We're probably talking about the same thing.
But yeah. So I mean, just
Blue Team is amazing.
They are, and just his he's just that hole is being filled slowly but surely. That hole, and he seems to keep meeting people that can give him tons of information, and that's what this cousin did. She was showing him photos and a humongous family tree, and just you know, she was ready for him. This was not a let's go play somewhere. We are going to sit down and I'm going to tell you about your family.
Yes, that was amazing. And it's emotional for him, because even from the previous week when he met that first cousin, and he didn't know his dad, but they're still connected. And I believe he was more of a DNA connection, and they called him up to be a cousin. But that was so emotional, because when he dropped, I just said, I don't know if I'm going to last through this season.
This season is
red team and blue team and the green. All of them.
Yeah, all of them this time. Yeah, they are just, all their stories are incredible, and the people that they're finding are incredible. So she showed him pictures of their of the great grandparents. They were connected through the great grandparents, and she was able to show them photos. And just, I mean, I love seeing his face when he receives these. It's just, he's so emotional, like you said, and he just keeps saying, you just don't understand what it feels like to have half you don't know who you are. A whole half is gone. You know, it's not even like he had hints, or he just knew nothing. And so this whole journey for him is just filling that side. And I love how his wife looks at him too. She's just filled with love, and she's so excited that he's finding these relatives. So let's move on to the black team, and then we've got to do red team last, because we'll start talking about red team, and then we won't be able to move on to anybody else. So Team Black.
Okay, Mary.
Team Black makes it to the cousins, and Mary will take it over, and then you two tell us what you wanted to tell us about Team Black. You're muted again, Mary.
Sorry. Yeah, keep hitting this button.
It's okay.
The table's right here. So Team Black, they made it to the cousins, and the cousin had a family tree and had their father on it, who they have not had contact with for however long.
And it didn't just say father, it said
living.
It had his name. It had his name. So sometimes I watch it live. Last night wasn't able to watch it live. I was busy eating dinner. So so I watched it on delay, and then of course I have to pause it because I see that name, and I immediately go to some of my favorite people searching websites, and I found his location. So I know as soon as I hear their destination X place, I will know where they're going.
We probably shouldn't say. We probably won't.
That's what we call the next place. Yes. But I will say it's not. It is definitely in their daily orbit on a regular basis.
Orbit. Yes. And the question is just going to be at this point: is he next or on the route? Does he want to be found? That's something we don't know. Does he want to be on air? I guess we will wait and see, won't we?
Yeah.
Well, and because he left when they were 4 years old, So he knows those girls are there. You know what I mean? Alive. And
of course.
So I hope it's I hope it goes smoothly.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And because they're gonna be there. They have to have some encounter. But a previous season, remember the one mother didn't want to come on camera?
Right.
She did later.
Right.
So you never know.
And they have his name, and I was able to find it in about 45 seconds.
Right. And if they can't figure it out, somebody will be able to figure it out for them.
Somebody will tell them.
Right.
Right. So even if it's not part of the show,
exactly,
it's definitely findable. They don't need the show to find them.
Right. Right. I just can't imagine what that emotion was, that night when they discovered, oh, there's his name. And I wonder how much, what else was in the, they didn't, they may have had an address right there in that tree that they just didn't show. And so what could the feelings have been, oh my gosh, he's been so close yet so far.
Yeah.
For all these years, he had to have known where we were, and he just didn't step up. So I hope he's got a really good excuse.
And it might not be step up.
Yeah.
It might be that he had to. Maybe it could be anything.
Whatever it is, the principal at our school used to say, no matter how thin the pancake, there's always two sides to it.
Exactly.
So,
absolutely. And so I hope if and when they meet, it'll be good like the rest of them have been. Everything else we've seen, some of them looked a little tense. I know Blue Team from a couple of seasons ago with the mom, I think that one may have been a little tense, but so I hope, especially with this being on TV, and like I said, I don't know if they're going to video him, if that's going to, but they do know he's alive.
Yes.
Yeah. The relative race producers for Black Team.
That's all we can say. And check the note that I put in the chat box, just so you guys know. And I'm not saying anything, but that's a spoiler alert that was out on Twitter today.
Oh, wow.
I'll have to go check. I must have missed that because I'm all over those.
I know.
So I must have. Oh, I know they said it was going to be. Oh, is that the one they said was going to be a 4-box tissue? Because they did that one too, so this must be a different one. I will go on and check.
Yeah, but
I will go on and check.
Yeah, just I don't want to say anything.
No, don't.
Let's move on to Red Team.
Yes.
Let's move on to Red Team. Oh my goodness! So she gets her little necklace from her mom, and they take off in the car, and they have a lot of issues. This is the first time they've had this many issues.
It was driving issues.
Yeah, they couldn't find where they were going, but they did. They asked a lot of good people. They asked the FedEx driver, right? They asked the FedEx driver. They were, asking the right people, but unfortunately, the street wasn't clear.
The sign
was covered.
Yeah.
So I know somebody posted, note to all future relatives, make sure your street sign is not covered.
I do have to say, I was really glad they couldn't read that sign, because otherwise Team Black would have been out of there.
That's true.
And I wanted them to be on longer. So
that's true. All happens for a reason, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Happens for a reason. So they get to the relative's house. And the man comes down the stairs. Are you my relative? Yes, he says to Maria. He says, 1, 2, 3. I'm your father. Oh my gosh!
And she was stunned. Before she reacted, I watched it again, and she actually was just a pause.
Yeah.
I thought she knew, because she'd seen his picture as a young man.
But he didn't look like that picture.
Oh, I think there was something in it. She was looking.
Either that, it was just, you know how things are going to happen, but it seems so surreal because it has actually happened. So it was either, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is my dad, or oh my gosh, this is the moment. And it was so surreal.
Top this?
I know.
But the other sister, or is she going to find her bio mom and dad too?
I guess. I don't know how they're going to top it. But the sister, Liz, was saying, I knew it. Because you look like him. Yeah. So she was, I love seeing the fact that they're there to meet different people because they're sisters through adoption.
Yes.
But the love and the bond is so strong. And Maria even said, I am so glad you're with me because I need you. I need you through this.
Yeah.
Their love for each other is so apparent as they're meeting one another's biological families. It's so apparent. So I'm loving watching this journey, and I'm loving the fact that people can see that the bonds through adoption are just as strong.
Oh, absolutely.
As biological ties. Absolutely. It's just as strong. I love seeing that and the support that they have for each other. So,
did you add up her siblings?
She said like
Daddy has 5.
17, I think.
10.
Yeah.
She said 17.
And then her.
Yeah.
So is there another child we're missing?
There must be somewhere.
10 and 5. Wait, did she make 5 for the dad?
I think she made 5. Okay. I think there were 13 before, and then she made 5, which makes 17.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
That's got to be. Can you imagine meeting all of them at the same time? That's going to be overwhelming, but so much fun. How's she going to keep the names straight?
Yeah, so I'm hoping some of it turns to the other sister now, because this one kind of kept the path going, but it's routed by location.
Yeah, it's by location. And she hit the jackpot. Turns out it was her dad's birthday.
Yes. And
they ordered a cake.
And they did.
And they did order a cake. And the cake gets delivered by whom? Mary?
It was by her mom.
Yay! That way we each got in there. There we go.
But I have a question about that, because it seemed to me a little
planned
off. Yeah, that her sister said, "We need to order you a cake," and that would not have been my first thought. Let's go buy a cake or something.
Maybe one of the producers, perhaps one of the producers, she didn't know that the mom was coming, but she may have said,
but the producers knew that the mom could come, and so arranged the whole thing.
Absolutely.
The producers said, "Tell them we're going to order a cake."
Yeah.
So And
producers could have acted like, we're going to order it through because of relative race, because we think this is really cool.
It's his
so just
telling them.
Not telling them. But what I thought was interesting is Maria said to her dad, she's still in love with you. And he said, I know. I looked at my husband and I said, is he still married? Are they going to get together? And he goes, I don't know. They haven't said.
They didn't show the mother with one.
They haven't
and
said.
No kids or anything were there. She's got 10 kids. Some of those kids might still be home.
Wouldn't that be interesting if they got back together? Wouldn't that be?
Because this was like what he went off to college and they lost contact
with each other, and he didn't know. He had no idea about the baby, he was saying, and
so that kind of got a little twisted too.
Because I thought she had said
he knew, or she told him, and then he didn't know, or maybe he didn't know it. I don't know. There was a little mix up there.
He's known for apparently a while though, since the producers contacted him.
Yes. But he was saying before that he didn't know yet. I thought that she had said that she had tried to tell him.
Or the mom did.
So anyway.
And he said,
selective memory.
I didn't know, baby. I didn't know, baby.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it was a great emotional.
How wonderful. A family photo. They hadn't been able to have. How wonderful. Yeah. And they didn't play the song, but when they were standing there, I was thinking the song Face to Face was just going through my head because they didn't play. But it was another episode where there was no commercials. And I really appreciated the no commercial thing. This has been 2 weeks in a row where there haven't been commercials.
Oh, because if I watch it the next
because you watch it on the app or on
well, I can watch it live, or if I watch it the next day has no commercials.
Right. That's the one. So I didn't even notice that there weren't commercials. I was watching it online.
Typically I don't watch it live.
Yeah.
You know, but I have. You know,
I watch them live because I like to live tweet, because I like to see sometimes they're on, and to hear their reactions, because they've not seen the show, which is something that I've learned through live tweeting.
Correct.
They haven't seen the final.
They're seeing it now.
They're seeing it for the first time, and they're seeing what's going on with the other teams, and they're seeing what's been cut and what they put on. And sometimes they're like, oh my goodness, I didn't know they were going to use that, you know?
Yeah.
So, and so it's kind of fun to hear their reactions, the team's reactions to what's going on. Go ahead, Mary.
Well, they did something different too. Usually Dan asks them the questions.
I love this. Yes, let's go ahead and get to the results.
Ask each other the questions.
Yeah,
and I thought that was really cool.
Exactly. Here comes our Bernice.
Oh, I see somebody.
Hi, Bernice. We're just going to finish up talking about the results, and then we're going to talk to you for a few minutes about something special. So I'm glad that you came in. Go ahead, Mary. Talk to us about what they did with Dan.
Well, just so that Dan asked them to ask each other the questions, and
they were playing Dan.
Yeah.
And Elizabeth Liz gets her Dan voice on. She starts talking to him. Welcome to the results, and she wanted them to say one. They could only say one. One. It was really funny.
And I forget which one of them said, "This is my favorite chat ever," when they were gotten to ask each other the questions.
Yes.
I thought that was really interesting. And,
I loved
pretty cool.
I loved that they did that, because it really
the change was nice.
It was really nice to see what they wanted to hear from the other people. The other teammates, and I thought it was funny that Green Team asked Blue Team if they were going to share their secret of driving in the rain, and he goes, "Well, when we come to see you after this, then we'll share our secret." So,
because remember that with the puzzle, is that what they were referencing?
No, they were talking about when he drives in the rain, he drives behind the semis, so that because the semis will splash the water out of the road, and he feels like he's not going to hydroplane. So that's his secret.
I thought the secret was
they wanted to know.
Replicating the putting the Rubik's Cube box down and looked and copied what they did. Okay.
No. I thought that was really funny, and I thought that was just another great way of having the teams bond with each other. I thought, and really be fun for us to watch. It was really fun to see what questions they were going to ask, and that was really fun. I liked that they had them played in.
So it was a good episode.
It was a good episode. So results, like Dan said, nights like tonight and everybody's face when Maria showed that her parents were there and together.
Yeah.
They were all in tears. They were all crying, and one of them said, you can't script this. One of them said, you cannot script this. This is real. This is real. The show is real. So unfortunately, we were all worried about Team Black. We're all really, really worried that they were going to get their third strike. And I know Team Black was worried that they were going to get their strike. But the blue team came in first. And their choice was to either have their relative on the next day actually guide them, navigate them to their home, which, that'd be a great benefit, wouldn't it? Especially look what happened to Red Team when they couldn't find it. Or that day 10 benefit, but they chose that day 10 benefit.
Yes,
everybody's choosing that day. Oh, and speaking of the day 10 benefit, they almost forgot the one they'd won from the
Green
day
Team.
Before. They got it, and their relative had to run it out to them. So they're really lucky they found it when they did. Or else can you imagine
they
that would have been terrible?
Drive back.
They would have. Maybe the relative would have taken it to them. Maybe I don't know if they would have allowed that. I wonder if they've ever thought about what would happen would we let somebody bring it to? That's a good question. That's a question we're going to have to think of to ask. So, and then Green Team comes in second, then Black Team, and then Red Team gets their first strike. But they were okay. They didn't care.
It can be much better than having your mom and your dad together there.
Exactly. So, absolutely. Yeah, they won.
Yes,
and we say this all the time. When you're meeting your family, you're winning.
Yeah.
But it's not fun till the other sister gets her family.
Oh, yeah.
They haven't won. You know what I mean?
Exactly. I know what you're saying.
Maria won, but we got to get the sister.
We got to get Liz some more relatives. She's found some, but she needs to needs to find some more. So, another wonderful day, full of, boxes of Kleenex or tissues, whatever you call them, wherever you live. Just always make sure, especially with this season, always make sure that you've got some near you, because you're gonna cry. You're gonna blubber is what you're gonna do. Let's face it, you're gonna blubber because it's just so emotional. The reactions, and to see this pure joy on their faces, and to watch the teams support one another. And Dan, just get so excited. So
so he gets the teary-eyed as well.
Oh, he does. He really, really does. And I think that helps make the show what it is too, because it doesn't feel scripted. It doesn't feel overproduced. You know what I mean? It feels like you're watching what really happened when they met their families. And I think that's why we fall in love with the teams. And people are still saying, who's your favorite team? I don't have one. I want them all to get to day 10. I don't have a favorite one. So with that, thank you. But you know what? I want to say hi, if y'all don't mind, if we go ahead and move over to Bernice for a few minutes.
Yes, please do.
Bernice, I am so glad that you were able. I know you were on grandma duty a little earlier, and you wanted to come in because you are a big Relative Race fan yourself, but you have something special that you want to take a few minutes and talk to us about, and that is your new book that's out, and it's your relative race. It's your going out looking for your family. So tell us a little bit about your book.
Okay, the title of my book is I am?
I can hear her.
I can hear. We can hear.
Okay, I'll be quiet. I don't hear.
Okay. Shelley, though, is going to hold up a copy of your book. I have it, but it's on PDF, so I can't hold it up.
It's called Tracing Their Steps, a memoir. And this book begins as a journey after my grandmother, who's 100 years old, tells me that her granddaddy owned a lot of land in a place called Marpas, Louisiana. Now, you can just imagine somebody sharing something like that with you, and you're trying to decide, well, what should I do? And lucky me, I had my mom, and my mother said, well, you know what? I think there's a Bible with his name in it. And, my grandmother, I said, 100 years old. That was like 1994. She passed away in 2000. And the picture that she's showing is Peter Clark, who's my great-great-grandfather, and his son, Moses. And my grandmother told me who they were. She also told me that she was named after her grandmother, Rebecca Youngblood. So now I have the names of my great-great-grandfather, Peter Clark, and I have the name of the great-great-grandmother, Rebecca Youngblood Clark. And my grandmother said, and I was named after my grandmother. So, here I am sitting there saying, now I have to verify this. I'm not saying that my grandmother doesn't know what she's talking about, but I just wanted to find all the evidence that I could to support what she told me to verify this oral history. And so that's Bernice, what the book is about.
This is what I love about it. It's a really good read. You did such a wonderful job with it. And you took that family story and you went step by step. Anybody wanting to do something like this is going to understand from what you did how to do it. It's a wonderful read, and it's a wonderful explanation of when you talk to your 100-year-old grandma and she tells you a story, this is what you do.
That's right.
I loved it. Absolutely loved it. Wonderful book.
Well, one of the things I wanted to really emphasize, though, is that So, okay, you get an oral history, but you don't jump into an online search. You look at what else is in your home.
Exactly.
You talk to the people that may have additional information to provide to you. And after you start verifying that information, then you take it to the next level.
Absolutely.
And the next level to me meant actually going to the place with my mother, who's a storyteller in and of herself.
I loved your car rides with her.
Oh boy. Getting into the car, I knew I had a story. That was just one of those things. And she just took me to the place that I'd never gone before. And I could feel that there was a calling there for me to continue this journey. And it took me a lot of different places.
And it took you time. This wasn't something that you got on and did just in a couple of months.
Oh, no, this is years. Definitely. I
think it's important for people to understand that, too, because sometimes we do watch these TV shows and people get the impression that you can quickly, it's just boom, you get online, then you go to the repository, a couple of months, boom, you're done. And you've got all the way back to Adam on your tree. No, it can take years. We're talking from you to your great-great-great-great-grandfather.
That's right.
And it took what, did I read, was it 15 years
15.
total? 15 years, people.
Wow.
15 years. Wow. That's amazing.
Good stick-to-itiveness.
Absolutely.
They wouldn't leave me alone. They kept putting stuff in front of me.
Yes.
And as they would put some information in front of me, I had to do this timeline and have this research plan, and I knew where I needed to go. And I needed to find the parameters of which he actually got this land.
Right.
And the exciting part, do I give the end?
That's totally up to you. I think you should, because it's a great read.
He was actually a homesteader.
I loved that.
And my grandmother didn't say my granddaddy was a homesteader. She just said he owned a lot of land.
A lot of land. But you said what I thought. I didn't know African Americans. You don't hear about African American homesteaders. I would have not thought to look there. And so it's a fabulous example of, we need to look everywhere. We can't make assumptions. We just can't make assumptions and just think, they wouldn't have done something like that. We've got to look everywhere. And because you did, it paid off.
It paid off in such a way that I didn't even expect to find the names of other people in his community. And once I found, it was like a calling. I had to, excuse me.
Okay.
I was compelled to find out about them, which meant that it took me to Civil War, Civil War pension. It took me to the Freedmen Bank and Trust records.
Right.
It took me to other documentation to find out about the men, and 4 of them were African American. And one of them was the editor of the newspaper, which is a whole nother story.
It's a fantastic example, again, of using the friends, associates, and neighbors, using that fan club to learn even more about your ancestor. Just everything about this book. And it's written in a way that you can read it quickly. It's written in a way that you can understand. For no matter how long you've been researching, whether you're starting out and going, oh my gosh, Bernice did this, let me figure out how she did it. Bernice can do it, I can do it, she can teach me how. Or if you've been just researching forever and ever, it's still a wonderful way. We all learn from each other as we read about the way we research and the things that we do. We all learn. It doesn't matter how long we've been researching. So I thank you so much for writing this memoir. It's just wonderful. Tell everybody how you can get it.
Yes, you can get it on Amazon. Or you can check out my website, www.jeanniebroots.com, and you can click a button, and one button will take you to a PayPal where you could get a signed copy. The other button will take you directly to Amazon.
That's wonderful. We'll make sure when this goes out that the link is on it too, so that people can go get your book and read it. I recommend it. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed reading it, and I appreciate, I'm not getting paid for the endorsement. Bernice was kind enough to send me a PDF copy of the book, and I loved it. I really did. It was really, I actually said, I told her, I said, I do my Sunday reading. I come home, I go to church, I come home, I relax, I grab a book, I go to sleep. Didn't go to sleep in your book. I finished it before I took my nap. I was really, really excited to see your steps and how you did it, and that you found it. And it's a wonderful book. Thank you so much. I really appreciate. Did anybody else have anything? Now, Shelley, I know that you kept telling us Bernice can't be in Gen Friends because she's working on her book. And so thank you for your participation in making sure that this book got done.
Oh, yeah, she's a taskmaster.
Yes, and
Bernice, you got to get that book finished.
Yes, she's having audio issues, so we can talk about her and she won't know. She just can't. I think she just can't hear Bernice. I don't know if she can hear us or not, but
yeah.
Yes. For some reason,
I can hear you. I can't hear Bernice. Did you ask her about the Bible in the box right quick for her to tell you?
Shelley wants me to ask you about the Bible in the box. I've seen that picture of that Bible in the box. It's huge.
Yes, it's huge. Well, it goes back to my mother understanding that I needed to find evidence. My mother called around and she found the Bible, and she had her minister go and pick the Bible up in another little town. And so when I came home, this Bible was sitting, there was this big box on the table. And in that box was this big family Bible. And when I opened the Bible up, there was his name in the Bible.
So wonderful.
Yeah.
So wonderful. And you made the point too, which I loved in the book. You made the point was the handwriting was different. Somebody had been, filling in this Bible. It wasn't just, 2 or 3 generations later, somebody said, "Oh, I know all this information." And they put it in there.
No, it was different handwriting.
It was different handwriting.
And in pen and pencil.
Yeah. And I love that you made that distinction, because that's another teaching tool that you put in your book, teaching people how to research. So again, that was wonderful. Anybody else want to say anything about relative race or to Bernice about her book before we end for tonight?
No, just looking forward to next week.
I am too, the week 5.
Exactly.
Beyond.
Day 5, halfway done. And again, thanks for being able to pop on, Bernice. Hopefully you'll be able to join us next week. Maybe Grandma Duty will not keep you from us, because we always love to hear your thoughts on relative race too.
Okay.
All righty. So with that, ladies, thank you so much for being here. I sure appreciate it. All your thoughts and your comments. And again, Bernice, thank you for sharing us the information about your book. And with that, we'll say bye, and we'll see you next time.
Bye,
everybody.
Bye-bye.